People are giving up on their credit scores, are just saying, I don't need it, I'm done. And while this is happening where people are just saying, I don't care about my credit score, I will never be able to afford a house, I'm not going to be buying a new car, so why am I even doing all of this? There's millions of Americans that are being sent into collections with their student loans. So what exactly am I talking about? I'm looking at 5 million borrowers are now defaulted on their student loans, and data shows that the number could double soon. So during the Biden administration, they said, we're going to actually lower interest rates on you guys, and you don't have to pay interest, so we're going to try and get you to pay it off, and you don't have to worry about it, just kind of make the payments or trying to pay it off. So there was a huge grace period during that time where interest rates were non-existent or super low on your federal student loans. And people used that and said, hey, I don't have to make payments, I don't have to do that. So instead of actually paying it off, they used that time to buy new cars and spend it on whatever else because they didn't really enforce that. And now, all of a sudden, we're seeing that it is time to now pay back the bills. And we gotta really, really look into it because it is gonna make it so hard on people on what's coming down the road. And this is it. Trump administration to restart interest payment for 8 million student loan borrowers. So what does that mean? That means that you, as a payer or who's going to have to make the payments, it's going to be really hard to tackle down the principal, because if you have a high standing balance, it's just going to be more money that you got to use from your active income to pay it down to make the same amount of principal payment. And I've been telling you guys that for now 2-3 years, it is time to pay off your student loans and to move on. But a lot of people said, I'm not going to worry about it, and I'm just going to let it go into collection. I don't need my student loans. So let's watch a woman on TikTok basically saying how she feels about all of this.
This is like random as fuck, but am I the only one that kind of gave up on my credit? And I'm not saying I have bad credit at all. I'm just saying I don't care about a credit score. I don't care about shit going on my credit. Like, as long as I have the money to pay for my needs, I have my car, I could get an apartment, the basic necessities that I need to survive. I don't care about anything else. As far as, I think, do they still put medical bills on your credit and all the other stuff? Like, this man-made system somebody or whoever created to stress people out, I don't care about numbers. The only numbers I care about is what's in my bank account. Like, a credit score and all that other shit is like, okay. And then you have people that's like, oh, what about when it's time to buy a house and all the other stuff? To be honest, I don't want to live or purchase a house in the United States. And then the crazy thing is, other countries, many countries, they don't go off of a credit score. They go off, do you have the money or not?
So if you haven't, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to hit 10,000 followers, so help me out. And if you like videos like this, obviously. So one of the things that she's basically saying is that she doesn't want to buy it. She doesn't think it's in reach. So why even really worry about it? So in the United States, when I moved here, there were 3 things you basically got to have to be successful in the United States. You need an ID, you need a social security, and you need credit. Those are the 3 things to set you up really, really well inside the United States. Then you can kind of start your own business. You can go get car loans. You can then do a mortgage. You can then buy an apartment. And a lot of places still check for credit scores. So let's look at what the downsides of it's going to be. So here we go. So how do you even get into the student loan deferment, or what's going to happen when all these people are not going to pay? So let's start off there. So within 127 days where you miss payment, late fees occur after 30 days. Delinquencies is reported on your credit bureau after 90 days. So that will trigger a default after 270 days of no payment. So now, what are the consequences after default? Wage garnishment, tax refunds, collection fees, initially for student loan forgiveness, legal action. And after the default, the loan rehabilitation, after the 9 months, you can then do it again. Loan consolidation, pay it in. So when I talk about that stuff and it's coming down the pipeline, it is really, really going to be coming in thick for a lot of people. So it's really going to affect a lot of people. And how is it going to affect? So when your credit score isn't perfect, it's going to make it really, really hard for getting new credit cards. Higher interest rates on cards, lower credit limits, denied on personal loans, higher interest rates on personal loans, denied for debt consolidation, harder to qualify for balance transfers. And one of the things I always say to people is when it comes to banks, when you don't need the money, they're always willing to give you money. But when you need the money, they're never gonna want to give you the money. It's just a crooked like system where when you need it, they're not willing to give it. But when you don't need it, they'll send you, hey, you qualify for this. How about this? And it's like, where were you when I needed you most? And this also has consequences when you're going to housing. Denied for rental applications, because even though you're renting today and you're pretty decently off once you're paying your lease and everything, if you want to move, they will check for your credit scores. And depending on how bad that is, you might not qualify for it. You might require higher security deposits when renting, denied for mortgage loan, higher mortgage interest rate, denied for home equity loans or HELOCs, difficulty refinancing existing mortgages. So these are the housing problems that come along with having a negative or not so good credit score. Transportation. Let's move into that field because that is just as important. If you live in the US, as you see here, I'm back in Santa Cruz and everybody has cars because just walking to work or riding a bike is really not feasible. So here we go. Denied for auto loans, higher auto loan interest, higher monthly car payment, denied vehicle refinancing, higher car insurance premiums in many states. So as you see, there is just so much that goes against you when you have a when you have a lower credit score. So when you have a lower credit score, it really makes life more expensive to you. And that's where they say when you're like kind of at the bottom, it is just more expensive to exist. So let's go into the everyday services. Electricity, water, gas, internet, cell phones plans might require security deposits. Denied for postpaid plans, forces to be prepaid. So yeah, as you're seeing, they're making it really, really hard on you. So I'm back in Santa Cruz, and let's check out this view because all you guys have been saying, I'm tired of the view of the desert. So we made it, and now we're back in Santa Cruz. This is Sleepy Town, Santa Cruz. Looks gorgeous though, great place to retire. Or if you work in the Bay Area and you try to live at the beach. But yeah, so we just went over cell phone, the cell phone and the utilities and everything else. So now this is when you have a low credit score, we know now that it's going to cost you a requirement of having more, putting security deposits on. As this woman said, she's okay with that because um, she has more money. So now we're getting into a little trickier spot because employers may view poor credit score as a red flag, especially finance, government, and security jobs. So as you're seeing, there's going to be people that want a government job, that want to work for a security clearance company. And when you have collections on them, that is going to be a denial for you because you might be viewed as a liability. Denied job offer that require credit checks, missed promotions, or security clearance detail. So if you want to work for a defense contractor and you want something like that, it's just going to not happen for you because you have all this outstanding negative stuff on your credit report. And some people say, and I'm kind of a believer of that, is how you do some things is how you do everything. So you always kind of monitor it. You always got to do good. Denied for checking a savings account at banking. Denied for overdraft protection. Denied for denied or offered poor terms for business loans. Higher business cards APRs. Denied merchant's account for accepting payments. So as you're seeing, it is just a spiral that is really, really bad. And you just got to really, really look into what is your, where do you want to go in life and what do you want to do? Because I truly, truly feel like you gotta take your credit score seriously, especially when you're in your 30s and 40s, just to make sure that this is something that you want to be doing. And let me see on the Bank of America app. Let's see if I can pull mine up because I'm transparent. So let's see where it says view my FICO score. This is from Bank of America, 806. So I haven't taken out any loans. I haven't done anything like that. And so this is actually my credit score that I have from FICO, from the Bank of America. So I just checked it out. And this is no way to brag or do anything. It's just about paying stuff on time and kind of just moving along in the cog of wheel of the US. A lot of people tell me, oh, you want to fight it, you want to do that. I'm never of a person that's like, let's fight it. Let's just use what's in place, find some loopholes for me, and then I'm good. And I just kind of keep on moving. And to that woman, I have no hate against her because I see so many people and I talk to so many people on YouTube that feel the same way. And what do I tell to these people is you always got to find a way how you can make your life more comfortable in the situation that you're in. So if you're that person, it's like, I don't think I can use my credit score or do something. You got to figure out a way. How can I actually succeed? How can I actually make myself better? How can I do that? How can I move up? And Allie actually monitors her score every day. Every morning, she kind of looks and makes sure there's no inquiries, that there's nothing wrong, or that there's not a big dent in it, because then she knows, hey, something's not right. And you can kind of then look into it or freeze it or do something. And I'm no credit score expert, but I just say you gotta do the right thing and start monitoring it and make sure that you're living below your means, because so many people live above their means. They live on credit cards. It stacks up, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can't afford this anymore. Because as you're seeing, it's getting more expensive for a bunch of Americans every day. And you don't want to get your wages garnished. You don't want to get those student loans going to forbearance costing you more. Because as they're putting some safety nets in place for you as a student loan borrower, where they're going to say we're going to go after colleges that and universities that promises you $100,000, $80,000 after you graduate, and then you don't make nearly close to that and basically got swindled into it with these student loans. It's just crazy, but it works hand in hand. You go to college, you get a job, and that job doesn't pay you as much as the college promises, and you're now making $60,000, $70,000, and they promise you like 80, 90, you have 100 grand in student loan debt, or you can't even find a job because it's such a hard job market, and you're trying to roll into forbearance, and that's now harder. And now you're like, why did I get into all of this? And it's just the times now where you need to know, or you need parents that will tell you, hey, this is something that I want to do. This is something that is worth in my future. And maybe going to an Ivy League, a prestigious, like one of these super nice fancy schools, might not be the way to go if I have to take out loans, because it's just brutal. And I'm going to be burdened with debt for many years to come down the road. And I know people that will say they will die with student loans. And it is just crazy. Allie had it. Allie had, when her and I met, had about $70,000 in student loans for a master's in engineering. She had a master's in biomedical engineering. And so what I said is, when we're going to get married, we're starting to tackle down that student loan debt. And we rented a room from somebody, and me and my new wife rented a room in the Bay Area and kind of paid off that debt. So it is just important for everybody that wants a head start in life to stay put after you've taken out the loans and just live below your means and just pay it off. It's so easy to do it when you're still living on a budget, as you're still living in college, and you're still in the college mindset where you don't have that much money and you just throw bigger chunks at it. Because once you're going to get out of college and you're going to get your own apartment and you're going to get a family, everything else is just going to keep getting more expensive. Daycare, everything else is just going to be more expensive for you. And so just staying put where once you got your college degree, trying to get a job, and then living on that same kind of college mindset of rice and beans and everything else is just super important because yeah, that burden is just absolutely crazy. And then people living with their parents. It's another thing. You just gotta do whatever you can to kind of pay it off, because when you're hoping that the federal government is gonna help you out and forgive you those loans, it might not happen. And I know people, I talked to people that said, oh, my student loans were wiped out because from the portal they got moved, and I called them and they said it's a zero balance. And it might not be that it's a zero balance. They just moved it to from the education department to another place where it's going to go into collection. And yeah, it is crazy. You don't want to be in your 40s and 50s and still have this looming over you and thinking about, I wish I paid it off and everything else, because you probably do want to buy a house. And I bet you this woman that I showed you, she would love to just purchase a house and just live her life even better with moving where she wants, have a little freedom, have some room to grow, and have some flexibility. But if you always have people dinging your credit because of medical bills, of student loans, it's going to be so much more expensive for you to get ahead. Good deals, you can't take them up, because if they're going to pull your credit, if you want a newer car, they pull your credit, then you're going to be in a 20% interest rate loan type of deal where you're going to be buried in your car because of it. And then everybody's like, you're high risk, you're not paying it. So why are we, why are you here? So then you're going to drive beaters that are going to cost you. So it's a whole downward spiral of basically student loans, of you not caring about your credit score. Yeah, it all starts off with you making the right decision, what's best for you and your future family. And people don't think like that. People think about, I'm gonna have fun on the weekend. I'm gonna, go get some beers and drink some wine on Fridays and Saturdays, and then it's gonna be off to work on Monday. And then it comes to find out that everything is kind of falling apart on the credit side of you. And since it's not publicly known, people don't really go out and say, my credit's really messed up. I should probably look into that and probably not go out and drink beers and have fun. Maybe I should just stay home, stay put, and work another job on the weekend to kind of get ahead so that I can buy it. And people get so mad when I say that. People lose it. People say, oh, this isn't right, and you shouldn't be doing that. But you signed on that dotted line. Nobody held a gun to your head and said, you got to do it. You got to take this out. No, you got the degree, or you at least attempted to, and then you couldn't do it. You couldn't hold up your bargain. You didn't have the will, the fight in you to kind of do it. So I just say, finish what you started, stick with it, and don't change your major 4, 5, 6 different times and just kind of be in school and like, I can't find a job now, so what am I going to do now? Well, let me get a master's degree, and then all of a sudden you're into some more student loan debt. And so I think they capped it now at $250,000. So you'd almost be better of taking out a loan for $250,000, buy a rental property that kind of increases in value and that pays you, rather than you going there and then it's directly tied to your ability to make money. It is just absolutely crazy what these young people are getting themselves into. So count yourself blessed if you had free college, or your parents paid for it, or you were in some kind of sports program where they paid for it, because there's so many Americans that it's going to get really hard for them to refinance cars. It's going to be hard for them to get kind of anything done. And so, yeah, let me know what you think about it, because Americans do like new cars. You see it all around. BMWs, nice Jeeps, nice Audis, nice Porsches. They do want to drive that, and you got to set yourself up. It's not an overnight type of deal. It is something that you work slowly at, and everybody wants success overnight, but it is one Lego at a time. And this is what we need to teach our next generation, that wealth isn't built overnight. Most of the time, it's built over you repeating the same thing over and over and over again till you're an expert, and then you can sell it. So this was it for this video, and I appreciate you guys for watching, and if you haven't, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. So I'll be here in Santa Cruz a few more days, so you get to see a few more days of fogginess and green before Monday. I'm gonna head back to Vegas, and yeah, thanks for watching.